morning. Today we'll be talking about the FMO approach in electrocyclic reactions. Well, we've already talked about the FMO approach in the case of cycloaddition reactions, and we've told there that it is not important to consider all the interactions of all the reactant and molecular orbitals of the reactant and the products. It is imperative for us to understand that it is only the HOMO of one reactant interacting with the LUMO of the other reactant in the case of cycloaddition reaction, which produces stabilization to the system. Therefore, rather than considering all the interactions, it is worthwhile to consider only the interaction of the valence orbitals, and hence we are only considering the HOMO-LUMO interactions in the case of cycloaddition reactions. Now, in the case of electrocyclic reactions, we know it is a reaction in which a single reactant is involved. A single reactant reorganizes its pi electrons to form a cyclic component. We have a conjugated polyene system which undergoes a closure of the ring system by rotating its terminal p lobes, which are normally parallel to the molecular plane, and once they rotate, they undergo a sigma overlap and a cyclic system is formed. Now, in the case of electrocyclic reactions, it is only the interactions of the terminal lobes that has to undergo rotations in the case of FMO approach are considered. What we are saying is that rather than considering all the interactions, it is only in the FMO approach in electrocyclic reactions, what we need to consider that whether there is a bonding or an anti-bonding interaction between the terminal lobes of the polyene system which is to rotate is under consideration. That is the only consideration. We'll get to understand this thing the moment we will do this topic a bit more. Now, since we have a single reactant in the case of electrocyclic reactions, unlike your cycloaddition reactions where two reactants were involved, therefore it is not possible to consider HOMO and LUMO of the it is not possible to consider the HOMO and LUMO of a single reactant. Therefore, as per electrocyclic reactions are concerned, we only consider the HOMO of the single reactant and do not consider the LUMO of the second reactant. Therefore, the rule is that while considering the FMO approach for electrocyclic reactions, the only consideration is towards the HOMO of the reactant orbital, and we do not consider the LUMO. Right? So since a single reactant is involved, only the HOMOs are considered, and hence LUMOs are neglected in the case of cycloaddition reactions. And moreover, we know that our your electrocyclic reactions are actually processing through two stereochemical modes. One is conrotatory, another one is dissociatory. And in conrotatory mode, it is the terminal lobes which move in the same direction, whereas in the case of dissociatory, it is the terminal lobes which move in the opposite direction. So if we are talking about a conrotatory mode of ring closure or ring opening, we normally say the two lobes move in the same direction, and therefore the opposite face of the terminal lobe is what interacts, and hence the interaction of the opposite faces of the terminal lobes is only considered. If it is a bonding interaction, well, the reaction will be allowed, and if there is an anti-bonding interaction, we will consider the reaction to be forbidden. To substantiate what I've right now said, let's say I have a particular molecular orbital in which the terminal lobes have similar signs. Let's say this is plus, this is also plus. You can shade it and show it different from the other one. You can shade it and show it different from the other one, or you can write plus and minus here. Let's say this is plus, this is minus, and let's say both the lobes are moving in a conrotatory fashion. If they are moving in a conrotatory fashion, this lobe, let's say, moves clockwise, this will also move clockwise. If this lobe moves like this portion of the P lobe will move in this direction. Therefore, the interaction in the case of conrotatory ring closure is between the terminal lobes opposite face. Again, these are two terminal lobes. This is upper face of one lobe, this is the lower face of the other lobe. So opposite faces of the terminal lobes in the case of conrotatory ring closure are actually interacting, as you can see here, and therefore it is in the case of electrocyclic reactions, in the case of conrotatory ring closure or opening, we need to consider the interaction between the terminal lobes opposite face. That is the rule as far as the conrotatory ring closure is concerned. And conversely, let's say if we have a dissociatory process. Now we know in the case of dissociatory mode of electrocyclization or ring opening, it is the same face of the terminal lobe which interacts. Hence, we need to consider the bonding or the anti-bonding interactions only between the similar faces of the terminal lobes. Again, to explain what I'm saying with this statement here is, let's consider a butadiene cyclobutene interconversion. Let's say I'm talking about a particular molecular orbital which has this kind of a sign. This kind of a sign means the terminal lobes, both upper faces, have same sign. This is possible if there are even number of nodes or no nodes, because with even number of nodes or with no nodes there will be a double rotation or more than double rotation, and what will happen is that the terminal lobes will have the same sign. So if the terminal lobes same face have the same sign, and let's say if they are moving in a disrotatory fashion, then what will happen? One lobe, let's say, moves in a clockwise fashion, another lobe will move in an anti-clockwise fashion. This is how it moves in the case of disrotatory. That means this lobe, this one, and this lobe, this one, will interact. Therefore, as far as the disrotatory ring closure is concerned or opening is concerned, we consider the interaction between the terminal lobes, same face, either both upper face or both the lower face. And that is what is the difference between the conrotatory and ring rotatory closures FMO approach, that while considering a conrotatory process, terminal lobes opposite face is considered, while considering a disrotatory process, terminal lobes same face is considered. That is the rule as far as applying the FMO approach in the case of electrocyclic reaction is concerned. Right. Now let's talk about this point, that as I've told you, if there is a bonding overlap achieved in a particular stereochemical mode, that process is allowed. And if there is an anti-bonding overlap, then that process is forbidden. What does it mean? That let's say if I'm considering a conrotatory process, that in the conrotatory process I'm considering the terminal lobes opposite face. And since the terminal lobes opposite face is considered, if there is a bonding overlap achieved in a particular molecular orbital, that particular reaction will be allowed. And if there is an anti-bonding overlap achieved in the HOMO, that particular process will be forbidden. Therefore, thermal, and therefore, and as we know, there are two possible reaction conditions, and either the reaction is thermal or photochemical. So thermal and photochemical modes will have different HOMOs. Of course, if the HOMO in the case of thermal reactions will be the ground state, and once you undergo photochemical reaction, it will get excited to the another state and the HOMO will be different. Hence, thermal and photochemical modes will have different HOMOs and have different results in terms of the stereochemical mode are experienced and are experienced and encountered. So what does it mean? Let's try to explain the entire rule of applying the FMO approach in the case of electrocyclic reactions. One, the first rule is consider only the HOMOs, right? Then consider what stereochemical mode are you talking about. If you're talking about the conrotatory ring closure, then in the case of HOMO of the reactant, remember again one more thing, that it is the HOMO of the acyclic component, which is to cyclize, HOMO of that component is considered. And once you consider the HOMO will be different in thermal condition and photochemical condition. Therefore, if we are considering the thermal condition, the HOMO will be in the ground state. That HOMO's ground state, either the you can say the terminal lobes same phase is interacting, or is undergoing a bonding overlap, or it is the terminal lobes opposite phase which is undergoing an overlap. We have to look out at this, whether it is the same phase, terminal lobes same phase undergoing a bonding overlap, and if it is so, this reaction would be thermally allowed under disrotation. And if the terminal lobes opposite phase is undergoing a bonding overlap, this reaction will be allowed with conrotation. To explain again this entire set of rules used by the FMO approach in gauging the reaction conditions of electrocyclic reaction, we'll talk about certain examples. First, we'll talk about the butadiene cyclobutene interconversion. We'll talk about this thing under two reaction conditions, one thermal and second photochemical. Right. First thing, I have a butadiene cyclobutene system. I know butadiene is a 2 pi bond 4 pi electron system, and in this case of a 4 pi electron system, and the FMO approach is applied to the acyclic component which has to cyclize, not to the cyclic component which has to undergo electrocyclic ring opening. Therefore, the application of the FMO approach is on butadiene or the acyclic component. One. Okay. Under thermal conditions, as I've told you, the approach is applied to the component which undergoes cyclization. Okay. Under thermal conditions, that means there is no electrochemical excitation, no photochemical excitation. In the case of butadiene, which is a 4 pi electron system, I can consider 4 molecular orbitals. As you all know, 2 will be bonding, 2 will be anti-bonding. It is psi1, psi2, psi3 star and psi4 star. The first 2 electrons will go to psi1, the next 2 electrons will go to psi2. Therefore, HOMO will be, in the case of butadiene, HOMO will be psi2, and psi2 has, one node. Okay, then I need to draw this orbital. I've drawn butadiene and I've considered only one node, and since I've considered one node, you can see positive, positive on the upper side, there's a node, negative, negative. This is the interaction. Now let's consider the condensatory process first. While considering the condensatory process, I can see that the terminal lobes opposite phase, because in condensatory process I have to consider the interaction in the opposite phases. The opposite phases of the terminal lobes have bonding interaction, and since it has bonding interaction, this process is allowed. And similarly, if I consider the same process for the disrotatory process, the molecular orbital remains the same as in the case of condensatory process. There is no change. Under thermal conditions, the HOMO will be same. If the HOMO is same, now consider the interaction between the terminal lobes same phase. Now if this and this interaction is considered, obviously there is an anti-bonding interaction, and if there is an anti-bonding interaction, this process is forbidden. Right, so it is very simple. Consider a particular reaction condition, either thermal or photochemical. Under thermal conditions, we are talking about the ground state. Under photochemical conditions, we are talking about the excited state. So we have worked out at thermal conditions, now we've seen whether the terminal lobes opposite phases having a bonding interaction, or whether the terminal lobes same phase is having the bonding interaction. Whichever mode is showing a bonding interaction, that will be allowed, and the other stereochemical mode will be forbidden. Right. So this is one condition, thermal condition, and we have seen that in the case of thermal condition, the reaction is allowed under condensation, and the reaction is forbidden under disrotation. Okay. Let's apply the same set of rules for photochemical conditions. Now under photochemical conditions, in the case of butadiene cyclobutene interconversion, one electron from the psi2, that is the valence HOMO orbital, will get excited to psi3 star. Now we'll have two singly occupied molecular orbitals. Psi2 would be SOMO and psi3 star will be SOMO dash. And as I've told you, SOMO dashes are also referred to as the new HOMOs. Therefore, the new HOMO in the case of photochemical condition would be psi3 star, and we know psi3 star has two nodes. Right? Again, we need to draw the psi3 star orbital here. Now I know psi3 star has two nodes, so if it is plus, one node minus, then minus, and another node plus. Simple. Now I need to consider that whether this molecular orbital is having bonding interaction between the terminal lobes opposite phase or between the terminal lobes same phase. It is evident that when I am considering the condensatory process, the terminal lobes opposite phase is showing an anti-bonding interaction, as positive is interacting with negative. Opposite phase of the terminal lobe interact in an anti-bonding manner. Therefore, this process, what is this process? Photochemical conditions, condensatory process. So I can say that under photochemical conditions, the condensatory ring closure of butadiene to cyclobutene is forbidden. And similarly, in the case of disrotatory process, obviously same orbital drawn here, and as you can see, the same orbital is drawn here. Positive interacts with positive. In the disrotation, we have to consider the interaction between the terminal lobes same phase. So this and this are same phases, upper phase. These are interacting, having a bonding overlap, and since the opposite phase, so this is not opposite, since the similar phase of the terminal lobe interacts in a bonding manner, hence this process is allowed. So we can say that disrotatory ring closure of cyclobutene to butadiene under photochemical conditions is a allowed process. Right? So it is very simple to work out that whether a particular stereochemical mode under a particular reaction condition will be allowed or not allowed. Only we need to consider the bonding interaction in the terminal lobes. In the case of condensatory, it is the terminal lobes opposite phase, and in the case of disrotatory, it is the terminal lobes same phase. Right? Let's write a few points here, or the points to remember. In any reaction condition, if the HOMO has even nodes, remember this is very simple, and you must have encountered or felt this thing while drawing the molecular orbitals also. in any reaction condition, if the HOMO has even number of nodes, even means start from 0, and then 2, 4, 6 and so on, then it is seen that the terminal lobe's similar face will have similar signs, and that process will be allowed with disrotation and forbidden with connotation. What does it mean? Let's say if I have even number of nodes like this. Let's consider this one, a Psi3 star orbital having 2 nodes. 2 is even number of nodes. One node will change the signs on the upper face or on the same face. If I'm considering the upper face, with a node the signs gets changed. Again with the second node, the signs again change and is similar to the first sign. Therefore, if you consider the terminal lobes, if I have one node, the terminal lobe's same face will have different signs. If I have more than one node, the terminal lobe's same face will have the similar sign. Again, I'm repeating, if I have 0 nodes or if I have even number of nodes, even means 2, 4, 6, with one node, the same face will have opposite signs. With the second node, the same face will have the opposite faces of the terminal lobes will have the similar signs, because 2 changes will make it similar to the initial one, right? Therefore, I can assume this in the mind. Let's say I'm considering the molecular orbital of any system, and the HOMO I'm considering has even number of nodes. So if it has even number of nodes, then that means the similar face, terminal lobes similar face has similar sign. And if terminal lobe similar face has similar sign, that process will be allowed with connotation, because there will be a bonding interaction, and disallowed with, that process will be allowed with disrotation and will be disallowed with or forbidden with the connotation process. So I can assume a particular reaction, don't need to draw the orbitals, and straight away I can jump to the conclusion. I'll just cite certain examples here. And second point is, if the HOMO has odd nodes, then it is odd nodes would mean that it has 1 node, 3 node or 5 node and so on. With odd number of nodes, the same terminal lobes, same face will have different signs, and therefore if same face has different sign, as in the case of this one, as in the case we encountered here, a Psi2 orbital, as you can see, a Psi2 orbital has one node, and if it has one node, one is an odd node. With odd node, the terminal lobes same face, the upper face here is positive and here is negative, the lower face here is negative and this one is positive. Therefore, same face of the terminal lobe have different signs. If it is different signs, connotation will be allowed and disrotation will be forbidden. Therefore, the rule is simple. Odd nodes with odd number of nodes, if you consider, that means the terminal lobes same face will have different signs, that means opposite face will have same sign, that means that particular process will be allowed with connotation. Now let me give you an example to explain how fast the FMO approach works in gauging the reaction conditions. Let's consider I'm talking about 18 pi electrocyclization. Just keep this in your mind and think. In 18 pi electrocyclization, then whether this reaction is allowed under thermal conditions, let's say, whether this reaction is allowed with disrotation or connotation. Now the exercise is very simple. If it is an 18 pi electron system, that means 18 pi electrons are involved, 18 pi molecular orbitals will be formed, and out of this 18 pi molecular orbitals, the 18 electrons will go to Psi1, Psi2 and up to Psi9, right? Therefore, consider this thing, therefore the HOMO will be Psi9, and when HOMO is Psi9, it is the HOMO that is we are considering in the case of FMO approach. In the case of Psi9 HOMO, the number of nodes will be 1 less than 9, that means 8. 8 means even number of nodes. Even number of node means that terminal lobes same face will have same sign, and if terminal lobe same face has same sign, that particular process is allowed with disrotation and forbidden with connotation. That is how quickly we can think and work on the process which we are talking about in the case of FMO approach. Right. We'll take one more example here in the case of FMO approach and then we'll move further. Right, let's say the second example is hexatriene cyclohexadiene interconversion. Hexatriene is a 3 pi bond system, right? Let's talk about this reaction under two reaction conditions, one thermal and then photochemical. Now under thermal conditions, without any excitation, hexatriene has 6 pi electrons, 6 pi molecular orbitals. HOMO would be what? Psi3. And if Psi3 is the HOMO, there will be 2 nodes, and if there are 2 nodes, then I have to draw that molecular orbital. And if I draw this hexatriene's molecular orbital, there are two nodes, one here, one here. If this is plus, this will be plus. With one node, it will be minus, minus. Another node minus will become plus, plus. Of course, as I've told you, with even number of nodes, the terminal faces same side. The terminal lobes same face will have same sign, and opposite faces will have different signs. Therefore, we can say if we are talking about the commutatory process, plus should interact with minus, opposite face has to interact of the terminal lobes. Plus is interacting with minus, therefore opposite face has antibonding interaction, hence this process is forbidden. And for this rotatory process, I've drawn the same molecular orbital. With same molecular orbital, you can see with the case of disrotation, the terminal faces have same signs, therefore there is a bonding interaction, and since there is a bonding interaction, this process is allowed. Under photochemical conditions, this is very simple. Once you excite this system by a photon of, strike this molecule with a photon of light, one electron from the HOMO, that is in the ground state Psi3, will jump to Psi4 star, and therefore Psi4 star would be SOMO dash and probably the new HOMO. And since it is Psi4 n-1, there will be 3 nodes, then that means I have to draw the HOMO corresponding to the photochemical conditions in the case of the hexatriene molecule. Hexatriene molecule, 3 nodes, one here, here and here. That is simple. And once you draw this hexatriene, if this is positive with the node, it will be negative. Negative with the node will be positive. Positive with the node will be negative. Since it has, again I repeat, it has odd nodes. Odd node means terminal lobes same face will have different sign, and opposite faces will have same sign. And since the opposite face has same sign, we can say this process has bonding interaction. Once commutatory process is considered, because in commutatory process we talk about the interaction between the terminal lobes opposite face, therefore this process is allowed with commutation. And if you talk about the disrotatory process, now with the same molecular orbital, as you can see here, in the case of disrotatory process, you can say that again the HOMO here is Psi4 star, because under photochemical conditions this is what we are considering. 3 nodes orbital is this. With disrotation, the opposite faces have opposite signs, and therefore if you interact the similar faces in the case of disrotation, we are encountering an antibonding interaction, and since there is antibonding interaction, this process is forbidden. So FM approach is very simple, and even you don't need to draw the molecular orbitals. Just by considering a particular reaction, we can say this process is allowed or not. Now let me work on certain examples here, okay, to work out the electrocyclic, the FM approach without drawing the molecular orbitals. Let's say I take an example, this one, okay. My question is that this is an electrocyclic process, a butadiene molecule getting converted into cyclobutene, or you can say the otherwise, the cyclobutene molecule undergoing an electrocyclic ring opening to form the butadiene molecule. What is the reaction conditions followed in this thing? Now to answer this question, what we need to do, first of all we need to work out what stereochemical mode is shown in this reaction. Now, as I've told you, the FM approach is to be applied on the butadiene, that is the open chain component, and whether this is written first on the left hand side or this is written on the left hand side does not matter. What matters is which one is the open chain acyclic component which has to actually undergo an electrocyclic ring closure, right? Okay, let's take this example. If you look here, this is the butadiene system, this is opening up. Now I can start from here to here. Let me say if I start from here to here, that means I have to keep the 2 p lobes like this, and 2 methyls are outside, imagine. And once these 2 methyls are outside, this is the 1 p lobe, this is the other p lobe, this methyl, this one here is going above the plane. This will go above the plane if this lobe, okay, if this methyl is to go above the plane, then this lobe has to move in this direction, then only this, with the motion, this methyl will go up. And if this methyl is going down, that means this lobe should move in this direction, then only this methyl will go down. Therefore, both lobes are moving in the same direction. I've worked out that the process involved in this reaction is commutatory, right? This is the first thing I've worked out. Now I want to check whether this commutatory process is thermally loud or photochemically loud. For that, I have to check the reaction under both conditions. Let's say I talk about the thermal conditions. In thermal conditions, in thermal conditions, what we can say that under thermal conditions, this is butadiene component on which the FMO approach is to be applied, and if the FMO approach is to be applied on the butadiene component, the HOMO was what under thermal conditions? Psi2. Psi2 has one node, and I can very well imagine without drawing the molecular orbital that if it has one node, that means the terminal lobes same face will have opposite sign and opposite faces will have same sign. Since the opposite face will have same sign, that means condensatory process is allowed. Hence, I draw the molecular orbital of butadiene. And once I draw the molecular orbital of butadiene, you can see this is the shape of the orbital. One node, Psi2, this is plus, this will be minus, minus, like this. This is the orbital shape. Now I can see here that the bonding interaction will be only allowed with the condensatory process, and with this rotatory process it will be forbidden. Therefore, condensatory process is allowed, and since condensatory process is allowed under thermal conditions, therefore the reaction conditions in this particular reaction are thermal in nature. Even if I don't draw this molecular orbital, then also you can assume the product would be similar. Let's talk about another example here. Let's talk about the example of, okay, let's take a more larger system here. Okay, work out under what reaction condition this process is allowed. Now here I'll first of all try to work out that what is the stereochemical mode operative in the case of this reaction. You can consider the reactant, you can consider the product and look at the stereochemical mode. And second, after working out the stereochemical mode, we'd see that this reaction is allowed under what reaction conditions. So that is simple. How do we do this thing? Now, first of all, what kind of an electrocyclization is this? There must be this kind of a bond rotation here, forming a bond between this and this carbon atom. So this is one, let's say, as you can see, this is one. There will be bond formation between 1 and 6. 6 pi electrons of the reactant got converted into 4 pi electrons and a new sigma bond was formed. Of course, a typical example of electrocyclic reactions. And if you look at this electrocyclic reactions, one hydrogen is going above and another hydrogen is going down. If this hydrogen is going above, let me keep this hydrogen here and this hydrogen here as per the rule of drawing the hydrogen in an sp2 hybridized carbon atom. As you can see, this is one p lobe here, this is one p lobe here. If this hydrogen is going up, that means this lobe is moving in this direction, like this. And if this hydrogen is going down, again this lobe has to move in this direction. That means again this process is condensatory. And if this process is condensatory, this is a 6 pi electron system. Out of these two reactants, the system which is undergoing electrocyclization is this one. And since it is undergoing electrocyclization, a 6 pi system, I have to consider the HOMO of this one. And if it is a 6 pi electron system, the HOMO will be Psi2, Psi3. And if the HOMO is Psi3, then probably HOMO is Psi3, then that would mean that there are two nodes in the system, and if there are two nodes in the system, the terminal lobes same phase will have similar sign. That means disrotatory process will be allowed and condensatory process will be forbidden. Under what reaction conditions? We are talking about a system where we have not excited the molecule. Therefore, this reaction is under thermal conditions allowed with disrotation and forbidden with condensation. That means condensatory, this is not thermally allowed. I'll repeat again what I've said. A 6 pi electron system of the system which is undergoing electrocyclic reaction. HOMO would be Psi3. HOMO of Psi3, there are two nodes. Two nodes means terminal lobes, same phase, have similar signs. Means disrotation allowed, condensation forbidden. This process is not allowed under thermal conditions, because here we were discussing thermal conditions. Once you talk about the photochemical conditions, then one electron from the Psi3 orbital of this system would go to Psi4 star, which will be the new HOMO. And if it is Psi4 star, that means terminal lobes. Psi4 star would mean there are three nodes. If there are three nodes, that means terminal lobes of the trine system would have similar signs on the opposite faces of the terminal lobes and dissimilar signs or opposite signs on the same face of the terminal lobe, and this would make the conrotatory process allowed and distritatory process forbidden. Therefore, this process would be allowed under photochemical conditions. I'll repeat again what I've said with the help of the orbital diagram. Under thermal conditions, HOMO would be 6 pi electron system. HOMO would be side 3 having 2 nodes. So I can draw this molecular orbital in this fashion. Right? HOMO is side 3, 2 nodes, one here, if it's plus, node comes minus, plus. You can see that in this case the terminal lobes, same face has same sign and opposite faces has dissimilar signs. Since we are considering the conrotatory process, that means we are considering this process, and this under this condition there is an anti-bonding interaction, and since there is an anti-bonding interaction, this process is forbidden, right? So thermal conditions process is forbidden. Now let's check the same thing for photochemical conditions. Under photochemical conditions, the new HOMO is psi 4 star having 3 nodes, and if it is 3 nodes, same kind of a reactant system would look something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, 3 nodes. Where do we keep the 3 nodes? One here, and one, let's say, here. So if it is plus, with a node it will minus, node comes plus, node comes minus. This is minus, plus, minus, and this would be plus. So terminal lobes, let me draw it properly. So terminal lobes, opposite faces has same sign. That means we are talking about the conrotatory process. Since we are clear with the stereochemical mode, the conrotatory process under photochemical condition has bonding interactions, and since it has bonding interaction, this process is allowed. Hence we can say that this reaction under photochemical condition is allowed. So it is this easy to work out the reaction conditions of a particular reaction using the FMO approach. So this will be it for this class. In tomorrow's class, I'll be talking about the FMO approach in the case of sigmatropic reactions. Thank you so much.